Good evening, family. It's your brother straight out of Judah with day 11 of the Wisdom series. Coming to you from Proverbs chapter 11, Ecclesiastes chapter 11, Wisdom of Solomon chapter 11, and Sirach chapter 11. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High. I pray that I decrease and He increases. And I pray that these words reach those who are seeking Abba Yahuwah and who are searching diligently for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and the continual fear of the Most High Yahuwah. And without further ado, family, Proverbs chapter 11 from the top. A false scale is an abomination to Yahuwah, but a perfect weight is his delight. Pride comes, then comes shame, but with the humble is wisdom. The integrity of the straight ones guides them, but the slipperiness of the treacherous destroys them. Riches do not profit in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivers from death. The righteousness of the perfect makes his way straight, but by his own wrongness the wrong one falls. The righteousness of the straight ones delivers them, but the treacherous are caught by greed. When a wrong man dies, expectancy perishes, but the ambition of the wicked shall be lost. The righteous is delivered from distress, and the wrong one takes his place. The defiled one destroys his neighbor with his mouth, but the righteous is delivered by knowledge. When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices, and when the wrong perish, there is shouting. Whew. By the blessing of the straight, the city is exalted, but by the mouth of the wrong, it is overthrown. He who lacks heart despises his neighbor, but a man of understanding keeps silence. A slanderer is a revealer of secrets, but one with a trustworthy spirit conceals a matter. Without guidance, the people fall, but in a great counselor there is safety. He who is guarantor for a stranger suffers harm, but one who hates shaking hands in pledge is safe. A woman showing favor obtains esteem, but ruthless men obtain riches. A lovingly committed man is rewarding his being, but he who is cruel troubles his own flesh. The wrong one earns false wages, but the one showing righteousness a true reward. Thus righteousness leads to life, and one pursuing evil to his own death. The perverse of heart are an abomination to Yahuwah, but the perfect in the way are his delight. Hand to hand the evil one does not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous shall escape. Like a ring of gold in a pig's snout is a beautiful woman who lacks good sense. The desire of the righteous is only good. The expectancy of the wrong is wrath. There is one who scatters, yet increases more, and one who withholds more than is right, but it comes to poverty. The generous being is enriched, and he who waters is also watered himself. The people curse him who withholds grain, but blessing is on the head of him who sells it. He who earnestly seeks good seeks what is pleasing, but to him who seeks evil, it comes to him. He who trusts in his riches falls, but the righteous flourish like a leaf. He who troubles his own house inherits the wind. The fruit of the righteous is a tree of life, and he who is winning lives is wise. See, the righteous in the earth shall be rewarded. How much more the wrong and the sinner? That was Proverbs chapter 11, verses 1 through 31. Head over to the book of Ecclesiastes or Koheleth, chapter 11, from the top. Send out your bread on the face of the waters, for after many days you shall find it. Give a portion to 7, and also to 8, for you do not know what evil might be on the earth. If the clouds are filled with rain, they empty themselves upon the earth. And if a tree falls in the south or the north, in the place where the tree falls, there it is. He who watches the wind does not sow, and he who looks at the clouds does not reap. As you do not know what is the way of the wind, or how the bones grow in the womb of her who is with child, so you do not know the works of Elohim, who makes all. Sow your seed in the morning. Excuse me. Sow your seed in the morning, and until evening do not let your hand rest, since you do not know which prosper, this or that, or whether both alike are good. Sweet is also the light, and good for the eyes to see the sun. But if a man lives many years, let him rejoice in them all. But let him remember the days of darkness, for they are many. All that is coming is futility. Rejoice, O young man, in your youth, and let your heart gladden you in the days of your youth, and walk in the ways of your heart, and in the sight of your eyes. But know that for all these, Elohim brings you into right ruling. Therefore, remove vexation from your heart, and put away the evil from your flesh. For your youth and dawn are life or futility. That was Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verses 1 through 10. That'll be all for your typical 66 books. Now, if you would turn with me in your apocryphas to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 10, 11. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a little tired. All right. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 11. Let's get it. She prospered their works in the hand of the holy prophet. They went through the wilderness that was not inhabited, and pitched tents in places where there lay no way. They stood against their enemies and were avenged of their adversaries. When they were thirsty, they called upon thee, and water was given them out of the flinty rock. And their thirst was quenched out of the hard stone. For by what things their enemies were punished, by the same they in their need were benefited. For instead of a fountain of a perpetual running river, troubled with foul blood, for a manifest reproof of that commandment, whereby the infants were slain, thou gavest unto them abundance of water by means which they hoped not for, declaring by that thirst then how thou hast punished their adversaries. For when they were tried, albeit but in mercy chastised, they knew how the ungodly were judged in wrath and tormented, thirsting in another manner than the just. For these thou didst admonish and try as a father, but the other, as a severe king, thou didst condemn and punish. Whether they were absent or present, they were vexed alike. For a double grief came upon them, and a groaning for the remembrance of things past. For when they heard by their own punishments the other to be benefited, they had some feeling of Yahuwah, for whom they rejected with scorn, when he was long before thrown out of the casting forth of infants, him in the end, when they saw what came to pass, they admired. But for the foolish devices of their wickedness, wherewith, being deceived, they worship serpents, void of reason, and vile beasts, thou didst send a multitude of unreasonable beasts upon them for vengeance, that thou might know that wherewithal a man sinneth, by the same also shall he be punished. For thy almighty hand that made the word of matter without form wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions, or no unknown wild beasts, full of rage, newly created, breathing out a fiery vapor, or filthy scents of scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparks out of their eyes. Wherefore, whereof not only the harm might dispatch them at once, but also the terrible sight utterly destroy them. Yea, and without these might they have fallen down with one blast, being persecuted of vengeance and scattered abroad through the breath of thy power. But thou hast ordered all things in measure and number and weight, for thou canst shew the great strength at all times when thou wilt, and who may withstand the power of thine arm? For the whole world before thee is as a little grain of the balance, yea, as a drop of the morning dew that falleth down upon the earth. But thou hast mercy upon all, for thou canst do all things, and winkest at the sins of men, because they should amend. For thou lovest all the things that are, and abhorrest nothing which thou hast made. For never wouldest thou have made anything if thou hadst hated it. And how could anything have endured if it had not been thy will, or preserved if not called by thee? But thou sparest all, for they are thine, O Yahuwah, thou lover of souls. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, verses 1 through 26. I think I said that right. 11, verses 1 through 26. Excuse me, y'all. It's been a long day. I'm tired. But, let's mosey on over to the book of Sirach. Sirach, chapter 11, verse 1. Wisdom lifted up the head of him that is low of degree, and maketh him to sit among great men. Commend not a man for his beauty, neither abhor a man for his outward appearance. The bee is little among such as fly, but her fruit is chief of sweet things. Boast not of thy clothing and raiment, and exalt not thyself in the day of honor. For the works of Yahuwah are wonderful, and his works among men are hidden. Many kings have sat down upon the ground, and one that was never thought of hath worn the crown. Mighty men have been greatly disgraced, and the honorable delivered unto the other men's hands. Blame not before thou hast examined truth. Understand first their rebuke. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt men in the midst of their talk. Strive not in a matter that concerneth thee not, and sit not in judgment with sinners. My son, meddle not with many matters, for if thou meddle much, thou shalt not be innocent. And if thou follow after, thou shalt not obtain, neither shalt thou escape by fleeing. There is one that laboureth and taketh pains, and maketh haste, and is so much the more behind. Again, there is another that is slow, and hath need of help, wanting ability, and full of poverty. Yet the eye of Yahuwah looked upon him for good, and set him up from his low estate, and lifted his head from misery, so that many saw and marveled at it. At him. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come from Yahuwah. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law are of Yahuwah. Love and the way of good works are from him. Error and darkness have their beginning together with sinners, and evil shall wax old with them that glory therein. The gift of Yahuwah remaineth with the godly, and his favor bringeth prosperity forever. There is that waxeth rich by his weariness and pinching, and this is the portion of his reward. Whereas he saith, I have found rest, and now will eat continually of my goods. And yet he knoweth not what time shall come upon him, and that he must leave those things to others and die. Be steadfast in thy covenant, and be conversant therein, and wax old in thy work. Marvel not at the work of sinners, but trust in Yahuwah, and abide in thy labor. For it is an easy thing in the sight of Yahuwah on the sudden to make a poor man rich. The blessing of Yahuwah is in the reward of the godly, and suddenly he maketh his blessing to flourish. Say not, what profit is there of my service, and what good thing shall I have hereafter? Again, say not, I have enough, and possess many things, and what evil can come to me hereafter? In the day of prosperity, there is a forgetfulness of affliction, and in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. For it is an easy thing unto Yahuwah in the day of death to reward a man according to his ways. The affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and in his end his deeds shall be discovered. Judge none blessed before his death, for a man shall be known in his children. Bring not every man into thine house, for the deceitful man hath many trains. Like as a partridge taken and kept in a cage, so is the heart of the proud. And like a spy watcheth he for thy fall. For he lieth in wait, and turneth good into evil, and in things worthy praise will lay blame upon thee. Of a spark of fire a heap of coals is kindled, and a sinful man layeth wait for blood. Take heed of a mischievous man, for he worketh wickedness, lest he bring upon thee a perpetual blot. Receive a stranger into thine house, and he will disturb thee, and turn thee out of thine own. That was Sirach, chapter 11, verses 1 through 34. Be wise, you discernment, family. Thank you for tuning in tonight for day 11 of the Wisdom series. It's been fun. This is really good. I enjoy this. I enjoy reading to y'all, and I enjoy y'all allowing me to read to y'all. Once again, it's getting late, and I appreciate y'all. I guess I hadn't said this in the previous videos, but be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Maybe. If not, whatever, man. Just just give me some feedback. But thank you for tuning in, and remember, continue to seek, search, be diligent, have wisdom, get understanding, get wisdom, and continue to seek the face of the Most High, family. And with that being said,